All right, so I'm going to show you a little bit of a way to stylize your images a little bit. That'll be something like maybe what you've seen online. This I've already done just a little bit of contrast and vibrance just to boost the colors a little bit and have it look kind of nice. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually I'm going to use um, the camera raw filter. So before I do that, because it directly edits your layer, I'm actually going to duplicate this and have an extra background copy. All right, so I'm going to go to filter, go to the camera raw filter. And again, this is a stylizing edit. So like I said, I've already done a little bit of contrast, color and contrast to it. That's why it already has a pretty good look to it. But so one thing, this is a newer version. So if yours does not look like this, you may need to look in a slightly different area. But calibration is what I'm looking at in mine. So the ones in which you're dealing with the tint of shadows, red primary, green primary, blue primary, um, this is what we're looking at right here. Okay, and it's got past versions of stuff, but anyway, we're looking at the calibration and look for the terms red primary, green primary, blue primary. If you can't find those, let me know. Okay, so stylistically, what we're going to do is we're going to change the hue and the saturation of blue all the way down. We can see that's making it this kind of tealish color. And we're going to take the green primary, we're going to turn it all the way up. We're going to turn the saturation all the way up. Okay, so that does some crazy things so far, but we need to turn the saturation of the red all the way down. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. And then the hue, we want to turn that orange up so that it doesn't look so red. Now, if that looks a little bit too orangey, you can always adjust a little bit and not go so extreme with some of those things. Okay, so this is a very stylistic edit for the colors. And shadows you can play around with a little bit if you want to. You can see here, not making a huge difference, but it's always worth checking to see if you could control anything the way you want. So calibration does some cool stuff there. Then there's, if you go to the optics section, which your sections may be up at the top depending on the version that you have, you can add a little bit of a vignette, darken those corners, make sure we're focused there on the center. If you're wanting to play with that as well, that's in the camera raw. There's a lot of things to do there, but I'm just going to play with those two so that we can see the difference that it makes. So if you have seen photos and you're like, well, this looks like the colors have been dulled a little bit, but they haven't, and that kind of thing, it might be a stylistic edit like this. So you can see we've changed the tone of the blues, toned down the redness of the skin. That also can make the greens change to yellow, so it almost like changes the seasons for you if you open or want to do that. So I'll actually see if I can do that really quickly just so we can see how that works. So I'm going to go to open and find that photo that we've edited before that has trees reflecting in that pool behind our subject. Okay, so it would be in my downloads. See, it is titled Outdoor. There we go. See if I can be real quick with this one, just so we can see how it changes the color of the trees. So I'm going to go straight into the camera raw filter. Normally we'd make a copy, but I'm trying to be quick. Okay, so calibration. I'm going to turn that blue primary all the way down, or change the hue and then turn the saturation down. Green primary, change the hue all the way up, turn the saturation all the way up, turn the saturation of the red down, and change it to a more red or orange color. And I could play around with this a little bit, see if I do want to keep it up a little bit. But we can see here, and I'm just going to go ahead and click OK, how much it's changed if I just go one step back. That's what we started out with, and that's where we ended up with. So pretty much changing of the seasons, which is an interesting thing to see as well. So that's just one way to play around with stylizing your portraits. And then, of course, you can continue on to play with things. Another stylistic choice is what we've done before with not letting your image make it to complete black. So you kind of make a matte look effect to it. And so you raise that bottom part of curves up, and then you bring this back down so it only affects the shadows of your image. So you can see right here, another stylistic change. So playing with that calibration in your camera raw filter and then the curves matte look are two very trendy things you could do with portraits right now.